Welcome to Mind, Mood and Food podcast. I'm Margaret Bell, founder of Naturally Empowered Health, gut health expert, anti-diet coach and author of True Taste. And I'm here with my partner in crime, Adele Derbyshire.
Hello, I am the founder of Find Your Inner Sparkle. I am a yoga teacher and a spiritual teacher, and I help people to reduce anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, and to fall back in love with themselves and gain confidence. And today we're going to be talking about fasting. So I am here with Margaret Bell, and she is going to give us the lowdown on fasting and whether it is something that is suitable for everyone or not. Hi, Margaret.
Hello, Adele. We're saying hello, aren't we? Because we've had a little bit of a break.
Yeah, so we're into a new year of recording. So this will be going out a few weeks into the new year with the way that the scheduling works. But yeah, we've had a little bit of a recording break. So we always feel a bit rusty, don't we? Just getting back into the flow. It takes a while, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's just like, what we're doing, what we're talking about.
Who am I? What's my name? What are we doing?
That reminds me, Cilla Black. Who are you? Where'd you come from?
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
I digress. Anyway, fasting. Yeah, I think from a lot of people's perception of fasting, and you know what, I don't blame people's perception of fasting in this way, that we use it to lose weight. My perception now has completely changed about fasting, that yeah, it may in the short term help to lose weight, but that's not the main reason for it to be used, to be quite honest with you. And there's a couple of reasons for fasting that I go into, and there's different ways of fasting as well. I know there's the 5-2, what was it, 18-4, I think 18-6, sorry. And you know, there's different ways of fasting as well.
The 5-2 is where I've heard of it mostly, and then off quite a few celebs and influencers and things, you know, like you say, not just for weight loss, but more. I have recently seen more from it's really good for our bodies to give our digestive system that break and stuff. So it's Dr. Michael Mosley, isn't it? The 5-2, the author of that one.
But when you think about it, years and years ago, when we're all living in caves and what have you, we weren't eating as often as what we do today.
And well, yeah, food, we had to go out and catch it and all that stuff. So
yeah, so
or grow it.
Grow it, spear it, whatever we're doing at the time. But it makes you think, was our body actually meant to be, you know, constantly dealing with food all the time? Because if it's constantly dealing with food, how can it do other things that it's meant to do?
Yeah.
So fasting, to me, and I'm going to bring in my gut health know-how to this one. Fasting to me is really good for that one thing, your gut health. When you fast, you're giving your body a chance to, one, get rid of debris, shall we call it. And when I'm talking about debris, it's basically if you're constantly eating, you're not giving your body a chance to get rid of things that might hang around in the colon, shall we say. Anything from the likes of medication to sometimes seeds can hang around in there, because when you do eat seeds, going to sound a bit graphic here, but you can actually normally see them when they do come out the body the other side.
I wondered how long it'd be till we talked about poo. There it is.
Gotta get it
straight in there.
So if we're constantly eating, we're not giving our body a chance to literally have the little French maid going through and with a feather duster and a vacuum cleaner to actually get rid of the stuff that's lingering around. And if we're not giving ourselves that time to get rid of stuff that's lingering around. Is it any wonder that we feel sluggish, grumpy, just not in our best
Not
selves?
firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But when we talk about fasting, that we've just talked about the 5-2 and things like that, which I understand a little bit about, but there are other people and other traditions that fast for, days or like for religious reasons and things like that, or fast from sunrise to sunset and things. So and like detoxes, obviously we're recording this in the new year, so like detoxes are really popular, aren't they, where you just drink water to flush it through. So with that in mind, of the real good gut cleanse and the French maidens, would that still be working if you do the kind of 12 to 14 hours fast, which is mostly done while you're asleep, so it's a little bit less painful, as trying to fast for longer?
What I normally tell clients is, if you can eat, say, if you can finish eating around about 6 and then not eat the next day till 10 or 11, that is ample enough time for your body to literally have that hoover through, if you get what I'm saying. It can still work around about 12 hours, but 14 is probably a good number to actually work towards. And as you said, Adele, most of the work happens when you're asleep.
Yeah. And just thinking about people's lifestyles, obviously, I'm out teaching classes and most evenings and things like that. So sometimes we do end up eating late, but as a rule of thumb, I would try to be sort of done by 8ish. So then, like, if I'm not eating breakfast till 10, that is about the 14 hours. But on days that you can, finishing by 6, but 6 does feel quite early, doesn't it? Especially like weekends and
it's basically about giving your body that 14 hours. So if you are a person that eat, like, let's just call it more of a European kind of attitude. If you're one of those people that obviously likes to eat later, have your breakfast later in the morning.
And just to point out as well, because I do sometimes kid myself that I'm fasting, but then I've had my coffee, because whilst we're talking about poo, I must get coffee in here somewhere, obviously.
Absolutely.
Coffee I have with milk, so that doesn't count because milk's a food. So if you're having your coffee, you've got to have it black, haven't you, really?
Yeah. If you haven't, black coffee is fine, black tea is fine, herbal tea is fine, and water's fine. But unfortunately, milk's a food.
Can't have your frothy coffee before 10.
And I'm not saying that fasting is for everyone either. What I would suggest, if it's something that you want to explore, is just get used to natural hunger, because a lot of people are afraid of that natural hunger. And it's nothing to be actually scared about. Let your body start feeling natural hunger, so your body has had a chance to go through the whole digestive system before adding more fuel.
It is true, because I don't know if I read something or watched something years ago that was a big aha moment to me, because we just don't want to let ourselves feel hunger, and so we keep topping up, because it's an innate kind of like fear thing, isn't it? Hunger, it's like it comes from, again, the caveman times of when you didn't know when your next meal, so it's a good signal for you to panic and go and try and source food, kind of thing. It's not the same now when food's in your fridge, and if you have run out, you're down the road from the local supermarket or whatever to just go and get something. It's readily available, so we don't need to panic. We're not going to die. We just don't need to keep inputting the food, and it does become a bit of a habit, doesn't it? Even just that breakfast, lunch and dinner, like that whole thing about, I psychologically have that thing that, it's breakfast time, so even it comes to like 10ish, sometimes I've been really busy, or even at the weekend when you maybe lay in a bit longer, and you think, oh shit, I forgot to eat breakfast, and say it's like 11ish. I literally think that sometimes, and I'm like, Well, it's not a rule. It's not
No,
like it's
not
not
at
written
all.
in stone somewhere. If we've
No.
not needed it, I may as well just wait for lunch now, and that's
Yeah,
probably good. It's not a problem.
yeah. I
But
think it's
initial
a.
feeling is like, oh, I've missed breakfast. I've
Yeah,
missed something.
I think yeah, it is such a misconception, and I'm sure I've discussed this in the past that breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Yeah, breakfast like a king and all that stuff.
Absolute poop. And I've
Mm.
said the word again. Poop's in there again.
Well, it's better than the word I might say.
But yeah, it is a complete misconception. Blame Mr. Kellogg's for that in the
Yeah,
1940s. So
he's got
all
a lot to answer for, hasn't he?
it, oof, don't get me started. But yeah, breakfast is breaking the fast, and that can be done at any time
Mm,
with any kind of food. So yeah, it is completely up to someone if they want to give fasting a go. It definitely does have the likes of gut health benefits, but it
mm,
also has life longevity benefits as
mm,
well, because you're giving your body that time to not process food and actually get into rest, repair, and restore.
mm.
Because
Yeah,
as
so
we,
it's one of those practices along with
mm,
breathing and meditation and all of those things to just give your body that chance to get out of that some of those states that it's otherwise busy in. So it sounds
yeah,
similar to getting ourselves calm when we're in fight or flight. We can't digest our food and things like that. And well, once we're constantly overloading our tummies and our systems,
yeah,
it's probably struggling, isn't it? Under,
yeah,
this probably is crossing over into another territory, if you like. I'm just thinking about snacking, that
yeah.
constant topping up. But yeah, fasting, we're talking more about overnight kind of thing, aren't we, really?
Yeah, yeah. Most people that I advise with fasting is to do it overnight. Yes, I've done a few 24-hour fasts, and it's not to prove anything, but it is basically because that's what I felt I wanted to do at the time. And it's also a practice that is quite good to lean into hunger, and then it obviously opens things up for you to actually not be scared of hunger.
Mm. Yeah, when we've done kind of like, I don't want to say diet, obviously, but like, different eating differently, eating
Mm,
less,
mm,
eating better. Me and my husband, we felt hunger, and we both said we quite enjoyed that feeling of hunger because we'd not
yeah.
noticed it for ages. And we were like, oh, because you really look forward to your meal more
Oh,
instead of
yes.
just like, well, I could eat, but I'm not that bothered because I had a snack an hour ago.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm really looking forward to my dinner. And that goes along with sort of eating it a little bit slower, like we've talked about before, and more
Mhm.
mindfully and helping that digestion process. So it all goes hand in hand, really, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And hunger is the best seasoning.
Mm, yeah. Just ask the people in I'm a Celebrity. Like,
The sods.
they're like,
Yeah, yeah,
this is the best. You
exactly.
know, when they win the trials and they get the tiny, and you're like, oh my God, surely they can't be, that
That,
can't be real. They give them like the treat,
yeah.
but they only get one digestive biscuit each or something, and they eat it one tiny nibble at a time, really make it last, and the flavor is like an explosion in the mouth. It's the best thing ever because they've not
Yeah.
eaten anything except like rice and beans for 3 days or something.
It's exactly that. If you're, it does encourage you to get into the habit of enjoying food more.
Hmm. And so fasting might not be for everyone. Is
No,
there anyone in particular in terms of that people should just be a bit mindful and go and get checked out before they do that? Or
I would say I would, healthy people, no problem at all. If it's
mm,
the likes of, I would say if you're type 2 or type 1 diabetic, just check to say that is actually okay for you. Um, for the likes of the general healthy person, there should be no problem whatsoever.
great. So I advise everyone to give it a go. Would you say, I mean, obviously it's like when people ask me how many times a week you should meditate or do yoga, I know what the answer is going to be, but if you can't do it every day, like me,
Yeah, I
sometimes when I'm
don't.
out working a little bit later at night and stuff like that,
Yeah,
it is still going to have a good benefit if you did it 2 or 3 times a week, because anything's better than
absolutely.
nothing, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'll hold my hands up. I don't do it every day. I
Mm,
do it around about 2 to 3 times a
yeah, and so
week.
it's just maybe bear in mind bringing that evening meal forwards a little bit if you can,
Mhm.
and also don't just go in the cupboard and get the
Yeah.
cornflakes out first thing, just out of habit.
Yeah. Leave
Maybe
leave
give it a little
leave
rest.
Kellogg's in there.
Take a little break. Just don't be in a rush, when you're just throwing something. It's what we teach our kids as well, though, because I'm guilty of this, because I want them to go off to school with something in their tummies. I've
Yeah.
always said that, because you want them to be fueled so that they
Mhm.
can learn and be awake and things like that. Now my kids are older, sometimes they're like, well, I mean, I don't want it. I'm not hungry. I'm eating for the sake of it. And I've
Mhm.
started to say a little bit like, sometimes they'll just get a yogurt or maybe a banana, or instead of like a full on, breakfast or something.
Mhm.
Or even I'll say, listen, you're not a baby anymore. And they've got stuff with them. So they take
Yeah.
like a packed lunch, both of them. My son's at college, still takes a packed lunch because he doesn't like the college food. So if you're hungry, you could eat your banana or your snack, or, half your sandwich or whatever at break or something. You're not going to
Exactly.
starve. And
No.
so I think that's important to mention, really, and to kind of start to reinforce, because it's the thing about finish everything on your plate and there's starving children, and you should be eating it all, and I don't do that. I haven't done that for years. Like when my daughter's like, oh, I'm really sorry, I've left some, I'm always like, that's fine.
Mhm.
If you ate what you wanted and you're full, brilliant, well
Absolutely.
done.
Yeah,
And it's important, I think, just to add that in there, what we're teaching our children.
definitely. Definitely. And I'm not saying at this stage, have your children fasting. No, not
No,
at all.
we don't want people
Um,
complaining, writing it. 5-year-olds, don't eat till lunch. Good for your gut. But yeah, I mean, because they're getting older, like I said,
Absolutely.
I've
Yeah.
all through primary school, and my daughter's at high school in year 10, and my son's at college, so he's like basically a bloke, is an adult. But but yeah, all their life I've been like, you can't go out without something good in your tummy so that it helps your brain power and fuels you
Mhm.
for the day and things like that. But then they're too little and they wouldn't eat again till lunch. Now
Yeah.
they're older, it's like you can go in your bag and get a snack if you need it.
Exactly. Exactly. It's that having that knowledge and that intuition and just asking yourself, well, do I really need this?
Yeah. Am I actually hungry? And not
Mhm.
everyone is a breakfast person. I
No,
know a lot of
no.
people that say, don't fancy anything in the morning. And you don't have to have it. It's this thing about, oh, I've missed breakfast, I have to have breakfast, this rule.
Mhm.
No.
No,
Not if you don't want to. You just add in extra food in there you don't need. So
exactly. So
brilliant.
literally start
Just
tuning
change
into
those
yourself.
paradigms. Yeah,
Yeah.
shifting the paradigms. Thank you very much, Margaret. I enjoyed that one, and it's given me food for thought. Well, there's a bit of fun
Aha!
there. I like to get that one in. If you have enjoyed this week's podcast, we love, love, love to hear from you. So please do drop either of us a message if you want any more information on any of the topics discussed, or you want to work with us. Then we would welcome your comments, your messages, and definitely your support in liking and subscribing to wherever you get your podcast from.
I shall see you next week, Adele.